That has to be one of the dumbest things I have heard. Add in other buzzwords here. I fell in love with stabbing cows in the neck. Ah! Like, it's so dumb. What? People need to get off TikTok and into a classroom. I have lost faith in humanity. Yay!
Before we jump into the video, I have a very exciting announcement that I have 2 upcoming vegan trips in 2025 in both of my countries, and you are invited. So the first trip is right in my backyard in the Canadian Rockies in August. We're gonna be hiking and camping in one of the most beautiful places in the world. We're gonna stay in the iconic Banff National Park and visit beautiful sites like Lake Louise and Moraine Lake, take the Banff gondola ride up Sulphur Mountain, and soak in the luxurious Kananaskis Nordic Spa, and of course so much more. And the second trip is a vegan tour in my home country of South Korea in October. We're going to be visiting 3 iconic cities, Seoul, Busan, and Gyeongju, and we'll stay overnight at a Buddhist temple, do a vegan kimchi making class, a yacht tour, visit UNESCO heritage sites, and of course eat tons of delicious vegan Korean food. Both trips will be linked in the description below, so check them out to see all the details and make sure you book now to secure your spot. There are limited spots available, so make sure you act fast, and see you in Canada or Korea, or hopefully both.
Hi guys, it's Rose and welcome back to Cheap Lazy Vegan and another Vegan Talks video. Today's video, we're gonna be reacting to a bunch of vegan related TikToks that will probably melt my brain, or at least increase my blood pressure. Let's just jump into it.
What I eat in a day as a former vegan who added protein to her diet.
If you don't know, that is Lizzo, who is a singer, songwriter, musical artist, celebrity, okay? And she has been well known in the vegan community for the last few years for being vegan, okay? She's one of those vegan celebrities. And this is why I really don't like this kind of obsession with celebrities going vegan, because I find that it backfires more than not, okay? Not a fan of us freaking out and being so happy when like celebrities are like, yes, I'm vegan, because almost always, other than with a few exceptions, they will always go back to eating animal products. They spread misinformation left, right, and center, and it annoys me. And this is also why you should never, ever follow health and diet advice from celebrities that know nothing about nutrition. This is like negative knowledge. This is like just so stupid. I can't. Let me just have a sip here. That has to be one of the dumbest things I have heard as a vegan, and I have been doing this content creation thing for 9+ years, almost 10 years, guys. Next year will be my 10-year YouTube anniversary. Isn't that crazy? I've been doing this now for 10 years, and I've heard some really stupid things. This has to make top 3. What do you mean you've added protein into your diet? And it makes it even worse because she was like supposedly vegan for the last like 4 years, apparently. Apparently she went vegan in 2020. What? How? So did you think, Lizzo, that you weren't eating protein for 4 years? Is that what you were thinking?
My reintroduction to protein started with Japan.
I could have said, okay, maybe it was a slip up. Maybe you made a stupid mistake. Okay, but then she said it again, my reintroduction to protein. Your reintroduction to protein? Protein is a macronutrient. Protein, carbs, and fats. This is basic knowledge.
That's like common sense, I fear.
And you know what kills me? When I look through the comments, I can't find a comment that's saying, hi, you can get protein on a vegan diet. How come no one is saying this? Like, it's actually disturbing, okay? People need to get off TikTok and into a classroom. I can't. A part of me, a small part of me thinks she's acting ignorant on purpose, like she's playing dumb. Because I just cannot believe for the life of me that someone could have been plant-based or vegan for years and not know that there is protein in plants and in plant-based food. That concept to me seems almost impossible, because when people go vegan or plant-based, a lot of you guys I'm sure can relate to this, especially initially, but throughout your plant-based life, you will get questions and comments from everyone under the sun about your protein intake. Where do you get your protein? How do you get your protein? Can you get enough protein? What do you eat for protein? This is like the most common question somebody would get on a plant-based diet, okay? And Lizzo, as someone that is famous as well, that was famously vegan, you would think that she would have gotten this question, this, you know, this inquiry, and then when you get that kind of question, you're probably thinking, oh, let me find out, where do I get my protein? Like, how? Like, is this just a slip up in your language? Because it's hard to believe. And that is extremely irresponsible to say like, oh, I reintroduced protein because plant-based diet doesn't have protein. Like, because that's the implication, right? It's like when you say you've added protein into your diet, that means it wasn't in your diet. You didn't say added animal protein into your diet, you said protein.
Someone suggested I try a Japanese diet because it's one of the healthiest diets in the world and it has some of my favorite foods.
The thing is, the Japanese diet is known to be quite healthy. And I am not one of those people that think that you can't be healthy on an omnivorous diet. I never went vegan for health. I don't promote veganism from a health perspective. I actually don't see a reason from a health perspective to completely cut out animal products, but from an ethical perspective, it makes sense. Now, do I think the general population in the world eats way too much animal products, especially in the developed world? Yes. And that's probably one of the reasons why a lot of countries have a lot of health problems. So I do think even if you follow an omnivorous diet, you should follow a very plant-heavy and varied omnivorous diet, not just like really meat heavy. But anyway, I'm not a dietitian. But I think one of the reasons why the Japanese diet is quite healthy is because not only do they do eat animal products for sure, but they also eat a lot of different plant foods. They eat a lot of rice, they eat a lot of sweet potato, they eat a lot of fermented foods like fermented soy products such as miso, natto, which is another like fermented soybean product. They eat a lot of seaweed as well, and of course they eat a lot of fish as well. And they also eat smaller portions. They don't eat a lot of deep fried food, a lot of greasy food. They don't eat a lot of sugar. So those are all of the factors that come into play when it comes to diet. I don't know how this has anything to do with her adding in animal-based foods. My guess is that she went to Japan. It's probably a little bit more difficult to be vegan in Japan because they do like to add in a lot of fishy stuff, you know, everywhere. And veganism isn't as, you know, established as it is in North America. And my guess is that it was just easier for her to not be vegan in Japan. And that's probably where it started. Let's be fucking honest, okay? That's my guess. That's my wild guess. Okay, and then she probably felt decent enough because she went from eating, like, here's the thing. If you look at some of the things that she was eating on a vegan diet, it's like, it's not the healthiest, okay? It's not. So in one of these videos, she's eating just this big thing of baked spaghetti, which is covered in vegan cheese, and she's smothering it in ranch. That I'm sure is delicious, but I would probably feel a bit sick after eating that entire thing as well. And I've seen other videos where she's eating a lot of vegan fast food and vegan junk food, which I have no problem with, okay? I love me some vegan junk food. I love me some vegan cheeseburgers. I love me some vegan nuggets. But do I feel great after eating a lot of vegan junk food? No. If I ate that stuff on a regular basis, would I feel like crap? Yes. Would I feel better if I went from that kind of diet to eating less processed food, less food that's deep fried, less food that is smothered in sugar, that's covered in oils and too much salt? Would I feel better when I start to eat kind of more whole foods? Yes, of course you would, okay? You've completely switched up the diet into a Japanese diet because you went to Japan and ate some Japanese food, which is a lot healthier than the standard American diet. Let's face it, like some of the things she was eating is just the standard American diet but veganized, which again is fine, but when you go from that to eating more of a healthier diet, you're probably gonna feel better. You switch to a less processed, lower sodium, lower calorie sort of diet that is probably healthier for you. So yeah, you're probably gonna feel better. It's not because you added protein.
When I got to Japan, I was in awe at how clean and delicious their food was. I indulged in fresh sushi and fluffy egg, and I was amazed at how good my body felt the next day.
If she went to Japan and ate a plant-based version of a standard Japanese diet, which is still really healthy, but added in, of course, plant-based proteins, which Japanese people do eat, which is tofu, and again, fermented soybeans and soybean products, things like that, she probably would have felt great as well. Okay?
And that led me on a journey to figure out how animal proteins affect my body.
Well, at least she finally said animal proteins.
After tests and research, I found that animal proteins helped me have more energy, lose weight, and helped with my mental fog.
This is why you cannot trust celebrities. And what really kills me is like, you are so rich, my dear, okay? If I had that kind of money, if I had Lizzo money, I would hire a team of dietitian and my own private chef. They can work together to come up with the best diet for me, and I can eat the healthiest, delicious, whole plant-based food diet, and it would be perfect. That's what I would have done.
I do believe that the vegan diet is still the healthiest diet to have.
Okay. How do you contradict yourself so much in like 40 seconds? I can't. Why? How? I don't even know what to say. How do you go from, I introduced protein into my diet, maybe she misspoke, but it's a really bad way to misspeak, honestly. And then she says, it cured my mental fog. It made me feel amazing. Oh my God, I feel fantastic when I added animal products into my diet. The next sentence, she says, but I still think the vegan diet is the healthiest diet to have. What are you talking about? This is why this is like one of the worst videos I've seen, because like, how does that make sense? Girl, pick a lane. Okay? Stop trying to please everybody. You're gonna have to pick one, because this doesn't make any sense.
And I aspire to one day be a raw alkaline vegan.
I can't. This is like the worst video. Raw alkaline vegan. Again, where and how? Where are you getting your information? Why do you want to be a raw vegan? There is no evidence to suggest that a raw vegan diet is more beneficial than a regular whole foods plant-based diet, which includes a lot of nutritious cooked foods. There is no scientific evidence to suggest that cooking food is inherently bad and that cooked food is not good for us and that we should avoid cooked food. In fact, as far as I've seen, most dietitians would not recommend a raw diet. So why and where are you getting your information, Lizzo? But again, it's like you said you needed to add animal products because it cleared your mental fog and all this other good stuff. But then you aspire to what? Be a raw alkaline vegan? I can't.
Till then, this is the diet that's helped me reach my goals and helped me feel good in my body.
I don't know how she was feeling before. I know a lot of people come to veganism eventually from, you know, the health argument, but I strongly think you have to make that ethical connection to have a much higher chance of staying vegan. I don't think it's a 100% guarantee. We've seen a lot of ethical vegans as well fall off the wagon, because I always say humans are more social creatures than they are ethical ones. But I do think it adds a lot more to your reasoning to stay vegan when you have the animals in your mind, okay? When you have a bigger purpose other than just your health. If I was just following a plant-based diet just for my health, all of a sudden, let's say I'm not feeling so well one week, what makes me want to stay plant-based? Why don't I just experiment with some animal products? Like, there's nothing that stops me from doing that. And because the majority of the population is not vegan, if you complain to your friend or family or something that, oh, I'm feeling a little tired, they're gonna be like, it's probably because you're vegan, right? That's just the default, you know, because everyone else is so healthy apparently. So you're gonna be convinced that, oh, it must be because I'm not eating animal products. And then it's gonna be so much easier for you to just go back to your animal products instead of trying to find a plant-based solution. Like, why even try to find a plant-based solution when you have not made the ethical, you know, connection?
Whether you're vegan, vegetarian, pescatarian, white meat only, or fully carnivorous, I'm not gonna judge you.
Well, of course you're not gonna judge because you're only plant-based or you were only plant-based. This annoys me. Again, of course you are not going to judge because you follow this diet simply for your health and your body, which is fine, I guess, but then why would you judge somebody else? Because you don't really care. You haven't made any sort of ethical connection to the animals. But for other people that, you know, are doing this for the animals, yeah, we do kind of care what other people eat. We're not going to get in your face about it. Most of us are going to be nice about it and respectful about it because we live in this world where, you know, vegans are demonized for doing the right thing and everyone else is celebrated. And so we have to be the ones kind of apologizing because we're the minority here. But if you're vegan for ethical reasons, it only makes sense for us to at least somewhat care what other people do, which is why we spread the vegan message, because what other people do impacts innocent beings, okay? It's not like picking what hair color you're gonna have. It's not like picking what kind of dress you're gonna wear. That doesn't impact anyone else. That has no victims, okay? Again, this is why we need to stop idolizing these celebrities that go vegan or plant-based and then later say the most outrageously false things.
Do what's best for you in your life at that moment.
Again, that sounds great and all, but what about the bigger impact? You know, what about the environmental impact? What about the love for animals? Okay, so you love animals, but do what's best for you. I don't care. Are we just supposed to not care about any of this?
All that matters is that you're happy.
Well, those animals are not happy, my friend. Those animals are not happy living in a factory farm, barely able to move, and awaiting their death. Just like, can you just imagine for a second living that kind of life? Put yourself in the position of those animals. Maybe they don't think exactly like we do, but they are aware of their surroundings. They are aware of what's going on. They have fear just like we do. For those of you that have pets, you understand, you know exactly that they are not just inanimate objects here. Put yourself in the position of an animal that was born in a factory farm. You know, separated from your parents, you can barely move. You are literally enslaved. Then you're just waiting for your death. I can't even imagine, okay? This is the kind of suffering I wouldn't wish upon my worst enemy. And yet, oh, laissez-faire, do whatever you please, as long as you're happy. How were you ever vegan? Like, I genuinely am like, anyway.
And if you're happy, I'm happy.
Yeah, well, again, animals, not so happy. Just saying. So that was Lizzo's video. Again, yeah, that was bad. That was bad. Wish this was beer.
Dear vegans, if you love animals so much, then why do you eat all their food? Getting tips with Granny.
Some of the vegan jokes, or the anti-vegan jokes, are just so stupid. Like, it's so dumb. I have nothing to say to this because it's so dumb. Dear non-vegans, if you love animals so much, why do you kill them? Why don't you ask yourself that fucking question? Ugh.
So here's why I stopped being vegan. I went completely plant-based for 10 months, but I went back to eating meat. Here's why. 1. Even after 10 months of fully adjusting to eating plant-based, whenever I smelled or saw meat, I still wanted to eat it. It didn't feel right for me to ignore what my body was clearly telling me, and the conclusions of some biased research other people did.
First of all, again, I don't know who this person is, but most likely, my guess is that this person didn't go vegan for the animals and it was about their health. So again, he's just listening to his body and just going with whatever his body is telling him. Listen, I get cravings for pizza, for burgers, vegan nuggets, for Diet Coke, cookies, ice cream, cake. Does that mean my body is telling me that I need to be eating pizza and cake and cookies and ice cream? That's what my body is telling me? Oh, my body's craving it, so therefore I must want it. Therefore it must be healthy for me, yay!
And 2, not all meat are created equal.
Again, this is another reason why I seriously, even though I don't want to be the vegan police and I don't want to be like, oh my god, you can't call yourself vegan. This is why it's so important to distinguish between vegan and plant-based. I'm so sorry, but we have to, because he was not vegan. Sorry, not sorry. This person was not vegan. And I'm not saying like, oh, he's not vegan because he quit being vegan and there's no such thing as an ex-vegan. I don't really believe that. We don't need to get into that. But like, you were just plant-based. You followed a plant-based diet, which is why you were just like, oh, cool. I can just switch, flip-flop, do whatever I want and just go back to eating animal products. As soon as I smell some bacon and think it smells good, I'm just gonna go back to that. It's like, you know what else fucking smells good? Pizza, okay? You know what else smells good? Cinnamon buns. Does that mean that I need to be eating cinnamon buns every day? No.
Grass-fed steak or wild-caught fish is very different from a Big Mac burger. But when vegan studies or documentaries want to convince you to go vegan, they speak against meat because the studies they use grain-fed meat with refined carbs or industrial seed oils.
Nobody said all meat is created equal. When you look at vegan documentaries, a lot of them don't actually talk about animals as much as they should, but I think it's because people are somehow put off by the ethical message. They probably are offended by it because deep down they probably know and agree that, you know, it's wrong to be doing this to animals. So often a lot of documentaries will be about the health aspect or the environmental aspect of eating animal-based products. And so I'm behind all of these plant-based documentaries, but the reason why the focus is on these grain-fed, what does he say here?
With refined carbs or industrial seed oil in meat because the studies they use grain-fed meat.
Oh, the studies they use grain-fed meat, seed oils, add in other buzzwords here. The thing is, in order to feed this gigantic population, the amount of animal products that we eat currently, it is impossible to do grass-fed meat. Okay? It is a very privileged position to say, oh, I want grass-fed meat. I'm only gonna buy grass-fed meat. I'm not gonna eat McDonald's. The reason why factory farming exists as a practice is because it is the most efficient when it comes to cost and how much they can scale. So this is why we eat so many animal products, because of the existence of factory farming, but then we couldn't eat as many animal products as, you know, the world wants to right now if we didn't have factory farming. So when you say veganism is bad, blah, 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 you need to go back to eating animal products, please, but only eat grass-fed meat, it's not possible, okay? You can't have everyone eating grass-fed meat.
And 3, I fell in love with spearfishing, and something that feels so good cannot possibly be wrong.
Are you fucking kidding me? Like, are you fucking kidding? Oh, I fell in love with stabbing cows in the neck, and something that feels so good to me can't possibly be wrong. Are you fucking serious? I fear logic has left the chat. Ooh, I fell in love with cutting open people's throats, and something that feels so good can't be wrong. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Just because you like fishing doesn't mean that it is right. People enjoyed a lot of things at the expense of animals, okay? And while animals suffer, people use animals for entertainment all the time. Oh, so funny. Look at the elephant in the circus that's been beat up and trained to perform for us. So funny and so entertaining. That can't possibly be wrong. Oh my God, I can't. My brain is melting. My brain is actually melting. I am so annoyed. All right, guys, so I was gonna do a few more, but I think my blood pressure is rising and we may have to save it for another video. Let me know if you like this sort of reaction content. Clearly, I get very heated. So TikTok has officially melted my brain and I have lost faith in humanity. Yay! Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave me a comment down below letting me know your thoughts on any of the things we discussed today. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up and check out my podcast that I do with my friend Daniel. It's called the SaVeg Podcast. I'll link our info below. We have a YouTube channel as well, and we are on all of the podcast platforms. We talk about trending topics and just other things, you know, in life. It's a very fun time over there, so check it out. Make sure you follow me on Instagram and TikTok. I know I have TikTok, even though it melts my brain. I do have it, okay? So follow me on there, Cheap Lazy Vegan. Yeah, if you have any other videos you want me to react to, you can also just link it below in the comments, and maybe for the next video, I'll react to those. And if you wanna see my other Vegan Talks videos, I'll have my playlist linked below as well.
And once again, don't forget to check out my upcoming vegan trips in Korea and Canada. They will be linked below, so make sure you book now so you don't miss out.
All right, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!